What's up, you guys? Today I'm going to be showing you how to do up the Stuss style deep but faster house. To go along with this video, you can get this full template at the top of the description on my website. Thanks for the support, guys, and let's get started. Alright, so like I said, faster house music. We're already at 136 BPM. First thing we got going here is our kick. So when you hear the kick, it's really not that, it's no processing on it, except for I added a pitch envelope. So you can see it's not that much of it, but it's shaped like this. Here's without it. With. So here it just pulls that kick up. All it's really doing is essentially like pitching up the start of the kick, and that's what kind of gives it like more impact like that. So we're just doing that, and then I've tuned it down here to match with the bass line. Then we got our bass. So this is a really simple bass line. We're in the key of D minor. If you're looking at this musically, like you can see, we really only have a few voices here. We have our root, our ninth, our third, our fourth, and then the sixth. It's really not that complicated. It's just like a steady groove, and then you have all this other stuff doing the complicated stuff. For the sound on this one, it's made with operator. I've got these sine waves creating like this FM thing basically. So they're all kind of at the same octave. It's not like, it's essentially a sine wave with just a little bit of extra harmonic content on top. It's not really that crazy, but that's what works best. And then we literally just have it sidechained to the kick. That's it. Then I got our clap and our hi-hat. Right, just like the main drums. Mainly with these, you can see there's really no processing, just like pitching if needed. A lot of the drums are like that, like moving down to all this percussion we got. Right, you can see like I have just these little 16th note hi-hats. No processing on those. I have this. Like all these little tiny things that are going on really don't have that much processing. You really don't need to do too much. I think that people overthink this a lot. You know, the only processing really with the percussion would be like this thing. Because basically I took this house loop and then we're just side chaining and high passing it to fit with the track. But yeah, it's really about like a lot of little percussion kind of adding up. Like if I just show you every layer here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like there's a lot of little things happening here, and a lot of it's really simple, you know, just like rim shots in a drum rack, that kind of stuff. But then when you add it all up, it creates this really steady groove. This one's pretty heavily processed. It's basically this tom, like a sort of bongo loop or something, but I've got this auto pin on it. So it's bouncing off the kick, and then we have a high pass. And yes, and then you put all the drums together. Right, it's like a lot is going on, and that makes up a lot of what you hear in this track. And then we have the synths underneath it. So this is quite a few layers as well. Again, I think these type of tracks are just about having a lot of things that are doing like a little bit each. Like this chord step just does this. Just this little melody every 2 bars, right? But then you add that up with like 8 or 9 more and it starts to become something, right? So for this one, it's playing this kind of simple melody. Again, going back to the key we're in. The thing with this is we're in a minor key, but we're not trying to be so like sad, dark, hard industrial techno, right? So we're not using like the minor third as much, for example. It is here, but like doing this, for example, I think 1, 4, 5 like that is very like uppity, you know? You know, it's a minor scale, but it's more jazzy. It's not so sad. It's more like melancholy. For the sound on this one's made with operator. This one's a really simple sound. What it is it's you take a sine wave. It's just like a little, you know, beep like that. And then I just have a little bit of another sine wave doing some FM, but it's 2 octaves down. So it kind of adds that roughness to the sound. Then we just got a bit of echo. I think this is pretty important with this one. It adds a lot of swing. Some sidechain, and then we're just high passing. Then I got this little chord step. So you see, it's like a lot of things doing very little. This one, I was trying to like recreate a Rhodes sort of sound. with operator. So the way you basically do that is actually pretty simple. It's basically just some sine waves doing FM at the same octave. It's just the right amount of that second one. And then also the fine tune here I think is very important. If we turn that off, it's a lot more sterile. This is what really gives it that kind of warble. The other thing with this one, so just being sidechained, but then we have this delay here, which is really fast, and I have it on the ping pong setting, so it's basically creating like a stereo widener, which actually helps a lot in this kind of a mix where you have all these things going on, because you have this going against that other operator, and it kind of puts them in separate mix places. Then we got this little sample here. So what this is, I just took this piece of this. I'll show you. It's like a little, essentially a pad. I'm just taking it and I pitched it and I just took that one section. It's just going through a bit of reverb, sidechain, and high pass. It's a really simple thing to do, but you can hear it just at the end of that little phrase there. It adds a really nice element. Then we got this little organ. So this is another one where it's just like a repetitive melody going over and over. This one is still in D minor, even though the notes aren't D minor. It's because I took this organ sample, and the organ sample was not perfectly tuned to C, so that's why this is like, imagine this is D minor, but it's just like relative to what this is tuned to. So for this one, I've just got this going through a bit of echo. Again, with these kind of melodies, I think the echoes can really create a nice atmosphere in the track, right? As you can hear that sidechain and then a high pass filter. Then we got this little pad. It's just a little thing that comes every 4 bars to sort of like reset it. So the way I made this, it's using operator. As far as the notes go, it's actually really simple. What we're doing is it's the root note in the middle. We're doing D, and then we have the 5th, an octave down and an octave up. So it's like creating this, again, just more kind of jazz in there, because now you have, this feels like D minor, but you're hearing more of the 5th, really. So it's kind of like messing with it musically. This is made with operator as well. Operator is really good for all these little chord stabs. What we got here is a sine wave with a ton of attack on it. So that's how it's like fading in like that. I got a bit of another sine wave and then another one, but this one is up a few octaves. So it gives it kind of like that more aggressive sound if I get rid of that. See, it's really like, it's not going to stand out in the mix as much. This just has a bit of reverb, sidechain, high pass. Then we move down to this little thing. This is like, you almost barely hear this in the mix, but it does. You know, just jumps in there with, it's literally 2 notes, just root and third. And also on that topic of like minor key, but we're not trying to make it feel so sad and dark, you could use the darker voices like on something like this that's more background, and then have the main things like this. Could be really focused on like not being so dark, right? This is made with operator. It's got 3 sine waves. So you can see, yeah, we got this one. We're doing the thing again where the FM carriers are actually lower than the operator, essentially. We got a bit of echo, sidechain, high pass, another little melody kind of stab thing. This one's really simple. It's actually just the same chord. It's just that D and then F, so like a D minor with just the first 2 notes. But on the first one, I took the D up an octave. Really simple. This is just operator, again, playing around with just different sine waves and also the envelopes, like having this one really short and punchy, and then detuning those. Bit of echo, sidechain, high pass, and then the last layer here is this little string. So it's playing a really simple melody. It's just root, third, fourth, and then back to the root. And it's just meant to kind of drone in the background and give it something a bit musical. It's a bit more chill and just not so like aggressive and stabby, right? So this is using this vintage string sound from Ableton here. And then I've just got a bit of reverb, sidechain, high pass. This one's really simple as well, but it just fills out the top of the track really well. So that's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like this video as well as subscribe. You can get this full template at the top of the description on my website. So make sure to grab that. Thanks for the support, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video.